TJAY. Yeah. Straight up. Let's go. Welcome to Straight Up DJ. Tap in, sit back, press replay. Been locked in with the Saints on a weekday. Now we talking every sport, every big play. Years on the grind, now we level up the view. From the dome to the world, get a better look at you. No script.
Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and welcome to another edition of the Straight Up TJ podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope that you're having a good one so far. And you know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, help the channel to grow, because we have some things we need to discuss pertaining to your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking a little bit about Cameron Jordan and Alvin Kamara, two veterans that are synonymous with the New Orleans Saints. And what is their future going to be like, right? I mean, it's been a topic of conversation, water cooler talk among Saints fans. And we got a little bit of a soundbite or two about the particular topic from Mickey Loomis, the general manager of the New Orleans Saints, as well as head coach Kellen. And also, we're going to be breaking down the New Orleans Saints 2026 schedule. Haven't really officially did a show talking about the schedule. I talked a little bit about it. If you checked out the Saints short that I put out last week, I kind of touched a little bit on it and what some Saints fans were thinking about it. And some feel like the Saints were robbed. I mean, we are going to get into that. But let's go ahead and get started, man. Let's talk a little bit about the Saints veterans, Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara, right? Talk about the two veterans that are synonymous with the New Orleans Saints. And look, these are two beloved New Orleans Saints players. People love these two guys, right? Alvin Kamara marches to the beat of his own drum, and that's one of the things that Saints fans like about him. And you got Cam Jordan that not only is a leader on the field, but off the field, just embedded in the New Orleans community, dude, his family. And just talking about these two guys brings up different emotions, right? When we talk about them possibly not being a part of the New Orleans Saints organization, people getting their feelings, man. People getting their feelings. When you start talking about regression, or when you start talking about them possibly not being in the same role, people get emotional, right? Because like I said, this is like you're talking about a family member, somebody that you love, unconditionally. And this is what Saints fans, feel about these two guys. But, Mickey Loomis and Kellen, they spoke to the media, right? They spoke to the media in regards to Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan. Now, they were a part of the celebrity golf tournament, Saints Hall of Fame golf tournament that happens every single year. And, doesn't matter if you are a great golf player or not, Saints players, as well as, personnel, the general manager, the muckety mucks, if you will, the high ups, they take a part in this. And after, the event takes place, the media gets to talk to the general manager, head coach, and players about the event itself, and also maybe some things that Saints fans want to know. And Mickey Loomis spoke to the media just like he does every single year. And we're going to take a listen, right? Take a look and listen to that particular conversation. And we'll go ahead and break that down. But before we do, I want to acknowledge individuals inside of the chat right now. And since we're on the chat, for those that are in the chat, I ask that you subscribe to the Sleeper Saints podcast channel. Yours truly. All right, yours truly. Wait a minute, man. We got to get official here. I forgot to put the cover on there. But anyway, I am the official representative of the New Orleans Saints for Sleeper Saints. All right. So it is going to be a weekly podcast on top of, Saints shorts. So kind of similar to what I contribute to Bleacher Report during the season, but we're going to be doing it every single week. And I'm just asking you to subscribe to the channel to help that channel to grow. I am appreciative that Sleeper Saints reached out to yours truly to spearhead that. All right. You know, this is something that you want to spearhead, kind of like how Saints fans wanted Alvin Kamara to spearhead the charge of letting go Dennis Allen. All right. I am spearheading the charge of Sleeper Saints, and I'm excited about that, man, because that's just a testament of what we built over here for individuals to want us to contribute in other places. So please subscribe to that channel and check out the first episode, man. I expound a little bit more on these topics that we're going to be talking about on this episode. But let's go ahead and get into it. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the screen, the Mickey Loomis conversation there. And like always, I always ask what you're drinking on as we listen and view the interviews. I'm drinking on Polar Seltzer, Georgia peach flavor seltzer water. You know, so shouts out to Polar. That's what I'm drinking on this episode. What you drinking on? Let me know in the comments, like always. But we're going to go ahead and tap in to this conversation with General Manager Mickey Loomis. Here we go.
Before we get to the heavy stuff, what about the schedule? What do you feel?
Before I get started, I just want to say, man, it's good to see JD out there, you know, asking questions and stuff, man. Shouts out to John DeShazer, you know, really great person, man. Shouts out to JD.
Yeah.
At least I hope. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. All right. Maybe that'll help. Well, hopefully we can be able to take a listen to it.
Look, I mean, I think it's. I always look at it like we're going to have, you know, our requisite home games and our requisite away games and how they fall. You know, there's not much we can do about it. So you just kind of take it in and you look at, hey, what are the logistics that may change, you know, if you have short weeks or, you know, in this case, we have a game in Paris. So, you know, we work out the logistics. It was a little bit of a surprise that we had an away game with the Giants prior to Paris, but that's going to work out nicely because it shortens the trip if we go immediately after the game. So, yeah.
You were always going to spend the whole week.
All right, we'll get into the schedule in just a minute. And Greg, man, you drinking tequila on a Monday night, man. You bold. You must ain't got to go to work tomorrow. But we'll get into the schedule just a little bit later, man. Let's get back into it.
It was just a matter of maybe you would leave Monday or something if you're at home.
That's been our history. So, yeah, we're going to continue to do it. We think that's the best thing for our team and our players. And that's the way we'll do it.
What do you think about having Falcons game for the 20th anniversary of Monday Night Football?
Yeah, they talked to us about that prior to the schedule coming out. You know, it's a great idea, you know, to celebrate that homecoming. And, yeah, it'll be fun.
Any surprise it was a week after the anniversary, or wasn't it?
No, you know, that's hard to get, you know, try to put it on the exact same week and exact same date. Just as long as it's in the vicinity, you know, we'll be able to. We're just commemorating and celebrating, you know, that homecoming and 20th anniversary of it, block punt, and all the things that came with that game. So it'll be a good weekend.
Mickey, now that free agency, most of free agency, and the draft have passed, what is undetermined with Alvin Kamara's status? Like,
yeah, you know, we're just trying to see how he's going to fit in our roster, and obviously there's a resource management element to it, and you know we'll get to that over the next week or two.
All right, stop right there. Look, I want to say this. I'm going to go ahead and take Mick off the screen for just a second, man, because this is where I'm calling BS. All right, I'm calling BS on this particular situation, and here's why. All right, so the question was asked about Alvin Kamara and his status with the team, right? Mickey's response was, we want to see how he fits with our roster. Now, the reason I'm saying that this is BS is because we saw Alvin Kamara a part of the roster last season. We seen Alvin Kamara a part of this offense led by Kellen Moore as the head coach. I'm saying that to say this. it's not like you don't know what Alvin would look like in this offense, because Alvin is familiar with the offense because he was a part of the team last season. Now, you can say that, well, maybe, you know what I'm saying, we want to see what these other running backs can do, but that still does not eliminate Alvin Kamara out of the equation. This is why, like, I just feel that the Saints organization in ways want to cut ties with Alvin Kamara, but they don't want to look like the bad guy. They don't want to look like, oh, you know, like we did something wrong, because the Saints organization are dealing with Saints fans that are skeptical about the team and have been over the last 4 to 5 seasons. And we all know that this has been one of those situations between fans and organization where there has been a disconnect. There's been a disconnect between fans and organization. And the reason why is fans don't like the food that the organization has been serving for the past 5 seasons. And the organization right now has been coming home late, have been not calling, not texting. We don't know where you at. And now fans are like, man, I'm done with this. I'm over this. I'm done, right? I'm walking out of the door. You're going to be by yourself. No, wait. This is what the organization said. No, wait. I can change. What are you going to do to change? Look, let's go to who that therapy, right? Let's go to who that therapy. And what I mean by that is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to admit to you that I've been messing up. I've been screwing up and I need to change. Okay, I'm going to give you a second chance. So if you give somebody a second chance, what's that person going to do? They got to prove to you that they're worth that second chance. So by doing something that most Saints fans would look at as egregious, by letting go Alvin Kamara, they want to keep him around for the simple fact that they afraid to lower the boom. It's obvious that they do not want this dude as a part of the team. They don't. Because everybody is beating around the bush. Everybody is not telling us what is obvious when it comes to the things that we want to hear, which is we are committed to Alvin Kamara in 2026, or we're not committed to Alvin Kamara in 2026. And this is ridiculous. It's pretty obvious what you want to do. You just paid Travis Etienne $51 million to show up to New Orleans. So it's obvious you want him to be the feature back. But here's the problem. When you are a player, a person like Alvin Kamara is, who marches to the beat of his own drum and don't give a damn about personal accolades, guess what? You'll never look like the bad guy. You will never see him like overstepping his bounds, because this is his personality. Alvin Kamara talked to Teron Armstead on his podcast. And some people, if you don't know Alvin, you're like, he just saying the things that people just want to hear. No, we seen Alvin Kamara have 950 yards. He was 50 yards away from having his first 1,000-yard season as a professional. 1,000 yards rushing, I should say. He had over 1,000 yards from scrimmage plenty of times. But this is a guy that said, man, you know what? I'm dealing with this growing injury. I'm not going to risk it. When you have a player like that who doesn't look at personal accolades, who is willing to take a back seat, if the organization, and this is what they know, if the organization went to Alvin and said, okay, we're going to feature Travis as our every down back, and we are going to, add you to the rotation, Alvin wouldn't care. He would not. Because if you look at the career of Alvin Kamara, he thrived in that type of environment. When he was a change of pace back, when the Saints had a 1-2 punch, he was a part of that 1-2 punch. So what do? If you can't make a guy look like he's the heel, right? And you don't want to look like the heel, what we have right now is a game of ring around the rosy, right? And, like nobody wants to sit in the middle. That's just what it is. The organization needs to stop blowing smoke up the Who Dat Nations, you know what, and just be real about it. let people know that you want to go in a different direction. Let Alvin know that you want to go in a different direction. The fact that you are not committing to Alvin Kamara speaks volumes. Nobody has come out and said yet that Alvin Kamara is going to be a part of the team in 2026. And I'll get into something else a little bit later, but I do want to address something that Tyrann Mathieu mentioned on X. I want to say earlier today if you're watching this on a Monday, but let's get back to the conversation. Mickey Loomis.
Does he currently have a decision to make on like a revamped contract or something?
No, not currently, no.
So do you, I mean, with OTAs starting next week, is that a deadline to try and figure out who's on the roster? And who's
Yeah, I mean, that creates a little bit of a deadline, yes. But it's not hard and fast.
And you mentioned resource management. Is that about the contract?
Yeah, sure, certainly, yeah. But, how we manage our cap and, we'll get to that.
Mickey, is there anything new on Cam or Taysom possibly returning?
No, nothing new.
Does it become unlikely as you get this far into the offseason?
No, I don't think so. Look, those guys, have earned the right for self-determination, right? So we're not going to put any deadlines on anything.
Do they both have contract offers from you?
Cam certainly does. Taysom does not.
During your tenure, I remember there have been a lot of veterans who have kind of held out all the way into training camp. I'm not held out, but just kind of didn't really show up until then or get the contract done until then. Is that less frequent now than it used to be? Just, 'cause you've been
that was really frequent, 15, 20 years ago. And obviously it's a lot less frequent these days, but it still happens, occasionally.
All right, so here's the thing, man. Let's backtrack a little bit. The whole Cam Jordan situation. Let me go ahead and just put this out there. Taysom Hill isn't coming back to the Saints. I would be shocked if Taysom Hill returns to the New Orleans Saints. I just think that the Saints tried to give Taysom his swine song. I've said this several times. I apologize for people that hear this constantly. The Saints gave Taysom Hill his swine song against the Jets. That's why they were trying so desperately to get him to score. That's the reason why he was so overcome with emotion, towards the end of the season. Man was in tears. He ain't coming back. All right. But let's focus a little bit on Cam Jordan, right? Now, Mickey said that they offered Cam Jordan a contract, right? They offered him a contract. I'm pretty sure it's something that Cam probably looked at him like, man, I deserve better than that. And it's well within his rights. It's well within Cam's rights to believe that he deserves more than what the Saints may have given him. Be that, I'm pretty sure they're looking at the fact that he's going to be 37 years old and how many more years does he have? But at the end of the day, I just hope that they're able to come to some type of common ground. And I hate that it had to come to this, but I'm not buying none of that stuff about, teams don't want Cam Jordan. I mean, stuff about, Cam just got humbled and all that kind of stuff. I don't even believe it's that. I think Cam Jordan wants to be with the Saints. I think that if Cam Jordan just wanted to chase a ring, he can get to a team that a contender. We've heard the conversations about, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm pretty sure they could have worked something out and to bring him to Kansas City. I think that Cam Jordan's heart is in New Orleans. I think he wants to finish his career as a member of the Saints, but I think that he wants to be respected. And there's nothing wrong with that because the Saints gave Cam Jordan basically a prove-it deal last year. Gave him an incentive-laden deal where it's just like, okay, man, go out here, do this, you get this, right? That's just basically what it was. He was basically on the prize is right, and he out here doing what he got to do for $100, $10 million in cash and prizes. This is what this guy was doing, and he bet on himself, and he showed that he was worth the investment. So he went out here and tested free agency, which he should have. But that doesn't give the Saints the right to try to lowball this guy because Cam Jordan, for what the Saints may feel like his best days are behind him, he still has something to bring to the table. I look at all of these guys across the board: Carl Granderson, Chase Young, Brian Brzee, Kristen Miller, Devon Gottschall. I don't care who the Saints have. None of those guys I have seen have outworked Cam Jordan yet. Respectfully. As much as I like Carl Granderson, as much as I like what I've seen out of Chase Young, as much as I believe in Brian Brzee and Gottschall, none of them outwork Cam Jordan. And that is the problem. That is the problem. This is the problem that the organization is facing. Just like when it comes to Alvin Kamara. Because Saints fans know deep down inside, and they know that those guys still have something left in the tank, and they can't justify these guys not being around. If Cam Jordan, like going into the 2025 season, Saints fans were like willing to turn the page. Oh man, Cam, maybe he's just not what he once was, right? Yeah, we heard the whispers. Man, maybe it's time for Cam Jordan to move on. It's time to get younger, right? But when you go out here and have 10.5 sacks, some of those skeptics now become believers. And guess what? You have shown that Cam Jordan is capable of getting double-digit sacks still in the latter parts of his career. And people know that the offensive line of the New Orleans Saints has been hot garbage. Do you hear me? Hot garbage. With all due respect, right? And we gotta be real here. It was garbage, and they know it. They know it was trash. So if you give Alvin Kamara a better offensive line, will he be able to turn back the clock? Will we see some things that we seeing from Christian McCaffrey in San Francisco? You probably would. And that's the problem. You just can't just wrap this thing in a big washed bow and just toss these guys aside. They still got something left in the tank. And once again, goes back to what I said originally. They don't want to look like the bad guy because right now they're making amends to the Who Dat Nation. And the last thing you want to do, excuse me, is piss off the Who Dat Nation. After you seem like you've been batting 1,000 over the last year and a half, doing the right things that Saints fans want to see to try to better your situation, to make the product more watchable. You got a quarterback that Saints fans believe in. You're getting young players that have been contributing, that Saints fans are looking forward to. And you follow that up with a draft that got Saints fans excited about a wide receiver that a lot of people consider the best wide receiver in the draft, and a bunch of cast of characters that have been in leadership roles, and people feel like they got a spot on the team and they can understand the assignment. It was pretty. The Saints didn't try to reinvent the wheel. Every decision that they made from the draft to the signings in this past offseason with the free agents makes sense. No head scratchers for the most part. So you're doing all these things that make Saints fans excited about the season, and now you don't want to mess it up by getting rid of players or not going to the table with players that Saints fans love that still feel like they should be on the team. That is what the Saints are dealing with right now. But the problem is there's no way around this because Cam Jordan is not going to do something that gives you ammunition to justify not having him around. And neither is Alvin Kamara. So guess what? You're going to have to make a business decision at the end of the day that may not be popular to Saints fans. So it's a very difficult situation that the New Orleans Saints are in. But at the end of the day, Cam Jordan deserves to go out here to see what his value is. And I just think that the New Orleans Saints still should give this man some respect because they gave him a washed contract. Can we talk about that? They gave Cam Jordan a washed contract. Like, we know you washed, but we love you. That's what they gave him last season. That is the type of contract they gave him. Like, okay, we believe that you're not who you once was. You believe you believe that you're still that guy. Go prove it. And he did. So what the problem is? What problem is? If he wants to retire with the Saints, it's not like, oh, you just giving him a retirement tour and he out here on some, on some John Sally type stuff where he just come like sitting on the bench with 2 knee pads on him, maybe getting about 2-3 minutes a game. Like he still can go out here and ball the hell out. And in some cases, look like the best defensive end on the team. What are we doing? I just didn't like that, man. And then on top of that, let's go ahead and address. I think this is a good time. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull this up. Just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna try to pull up something that I seen on X. Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu, he had a comment. I'm trying to see if I can actually pull this up. I gotta, man. When you update your computer, man, it just take everything out. Just take everything out. You got to put password back in and all that other stuff, man. My goodness. Hold on. Give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and put Mickey on the screen.
Yeah, I think that's just the nature of the way things have turned over the last 5 or 6 years.
You guys have done a lot of big contracts late in the summer, in July, August, September. So with that being said, does it matter with what the timeline is for Chris Olave's contract? You'll have cap space. Do you have a timeline?
Well, I think that happens because, the urgency becomes when for the player and the team becomes when the games, start. So I think that's just the natural course of things. But obviously, we'd love to have something done sooner than that. And I'm sure Chris would as well. But we're not there yet.
How have those conversations progressed so far?
Yeah, they've been good.
Was it?
Yeah.
You do have a contract off of 4 Cam.
All right. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go ahead. Yeah, I mean, pretty much he started asking about other contracts. We'll get into Chris Olave on another show. Speaking of Chris Olave, man, I don't know if some of y'all been watching. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but I don't know if you've been if any of you watched this new show on Netflix called Nemesis, right? I mean, and if you haven't watched it, it's a pretty damn good show. But there's a character on there named Isaiah Styles, played by actor by the name of Matthew Liu. Guy looks just like Chris Olave, man. like this dude like just favors Chris Olave to me, man. Like this let me know, am I tripping? All right. Just go ahead. If you watch the show, go ahead and check it out. But yeah, man, when I look at that guy, he just reminds me of Chris Olave. But anyway, man, Tyrann Mathieu, I'm gonna have to paraphrase this because I'm having a tough time trying to locate it. But it was an issue where somebody put up the conversation of the media asking a question to Mickey Loomis about Alvin Kamara. And, he basically was talking about, we need to talk about how he fits in the rotation, a roster, etc. And Tyrann Mathieu basically retweets, says, I told y'all. And this alludes, this is back to the topic where, Tyrann Mathieu, spoke about, Alvin Kamara and maybe the organization being upset with Alvin Kamara because he spearheaded the charge of getting Dennis Allen fired. Now, we talked about this before, and look, there's no love lost between Saints fans and Dennis Allen. I have nothing against Dennis Allen. Everybody knows how I feel about Dennis when it comes to him coaching defense. Think that he's a damn good defensive coordinator. As a head coach, hails to the knob. And I said this, and I'm going to say it again. If Alvin Kamara spearheaded the charge, bravo, Alvin. Bravo, because he did the organization a solid. Had y'all boys, I'm talking Dennis Allen, had y'all out here looking crazy as hell. Like made y'all look like y'all ain't know what the hell y'all was doing. So if Alvin Kamara spearheaded the charge, he did y'all a favor. Look at what has transpired from after the firing of Dennis Allen. I ain't in a business of seeing a man lose his job. I mean, I don't think anybody should. But look what has happened since this man been fired. No, the Saints ain't made the playoffs, but I think if we go into 2026, if you ask the majority of Saints fans, they're way more optimistic in Kellen Moore's second year as the head coach as any time. I'm talking anytime Dennis Allen was the head coach. That includes when he first was hired, because every Saints fan had to talk themselves into believing that Dennis Allen was a good idea. I'm going to say that again. Every Saints fan out there had to convince themselves that Dennis Allen was a good idea. It was never like, oh man, we got one. It was like, well, the Raiders aren't a good organization, and maybe, they did this man a disservice. You had to convince yourself that Dennis Allen was going to be okay with the Saints. This man was never never the top choice. It's almost like, man, she got a good personality, or he has a good personality. He treats me good. Like he opened the door for me. She encourages me. Yeah, I think I might give a chance, even though that maybe, like it ain't going to jail, man. I'm trying to convince myself that this is the person for me. That's what Dennis Allen was. So this man did y'all solid. So instead of y'all being mad, I think y'all need to congratulate dude for actually seeing something that y'all should have seen from the get-go. But we all know how these organizations can sometimes be. Sometimes when you got people in high positions, they feel like, I know what I'm doing. You're looking at it from the outside looking in. You don't know what's going on. And, in certain aspects, you don't. But at the end of the day, I think every Saints fan knew what they were talking about. Like, most Saints fans may not understand the daily operations of what it takes to run an NFL franchise. But this is one thing that Saints fans damn sure know. They know what fits in the organization. They know what they like, and they know what they don't like. And they know if it's gonna pan out or not. Like, that's just what it is. And I'm talking about when it comes to the relationship and the love for the team, and will these two things be able to coexist? I'm talking player and fan. That's the reason why you look at players like Tyler Shuck, who's only played in a handful of games, but Saints fans feel like this dude gonna take him somewhere. Why? Because he has done everything that he possibly can to prove to Saints fans that I'm worth y'all believing in. I'm worth y'all supporting. Alvin Kamara did y'all boys a solid. All right. So if you sitting up there upset at the fact that he did that because you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing, guess what? Alvin Kamara didn't have to say that. It looked as if you all, I'm talking to higher ups within the Saints organization, didn't know what they was doing. Fell asleep at the wheel. So we gotta keep it 100, man. Like, for real, we gotta keep this thing all the way a buck. Man, help that man save y'all from looking like really, really ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna take this time out to read some of the comments. Feel free to put some of your comments inside of the chat before we get to the next topic. We're going to be talking about the NFL schedule. And I apologize, man. I just couldn't find the Tyrann Mathieu. I couldn't find the retweet that he put up there. And like I said, I apologize. But I did find this picture right here, what I was talking about. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping. Y'all tell me if I'm tripping here. All right. Let me go ahead and put this up on the screen. Y'all tell me, am I tripping? Does this dude remind you of Alvin, excuse me, Chris Olave? You know what I'm saying? Like, this, man, like, I was like, man, I was like, this dude look just like Chris Olave. But, man, for real, though, if you ain't ever seen Nemesis, man, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. Damn good show, man. I actually sit there and, like, I watch every episode. Like, I binge watch. Like, it was like, man, like, this is really good. And the thing about it was, it's like, you in like episode 3, and it's like, man, I don't want this show to end. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I feel like they need to give me a check for promoting this show like this, man. But it's really good stuff right there. Dude look like Chris Olave every time I see him. But shouts out to Matthew Lou, man. He killing it, man. He killing it on there, man. As Isaiah Styles. I'm looking forward to season 2 because I know they're gonna get another season. Damn good stuff. Damn good stuff. But let's get back to the comments. Let's see. TJ had to break out that classic. We not winning games no more in the tour to Drew Hill under Dennis Allen as head coach. Hey, I will say this. Dennis Allen may not have brought out the best in the team, but he damn sure brought out the best in me. I was making some classics, some bangers, okay? For a person that ain't never like did anything like music-wise. I like to, it's not like on some, you know what I'm saying, on some top-notch Universal Records type stuff, but somebody that had, basically ain't never did nothing in the studio a day in their life, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty creative. But at the end of the day, man, that just wasn't the energy that Saints fans needed. You right, too, TJ. Leave up to Loomis, Allen, and Carr will still be running the show, and people would be miserable. It would be miserable, man. Like, nobody want to see that. Ain't nobody checking for no Derek Carr or no Dennis Allen, right? Dennis Allen is right where he needs to be coaching somebody defense, and Derek Carr is right where he needs to be, I get, doing podcasting or whatever like that, right? I mean, look, the tribe is spoken. Right? I mean, he put the little fillers out there talking about he wanted to come back. Crickets. All right. I mean, this isn't me talking. I mean, this is the NFL talk. So, I mean, doesn't that speak volumes? Is what I'm saying here. I don't see the vision with the pitching. I mean, look, I guess not, man. But like, you have to. You'll have to watch the show, Mike. You'll have to watch the show, like little side angles and stuff like that, man. Dude just remind me of Chris Olave. But I appreciate you don't believe that all black people look alike. Shout out to Mike. Oh my God, TJ, he looks like the half brother of Chris Olave. Yeah, man. Look, I mean, you have to watch the show. Like, you have to watch the show, though. I'm telling you, like. It's like those little side views. I'm not gonna spoil. I'm not gonna spoil the movie Michael for anybody that haven't seen this. Biopic of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is played by Michael Jackson's nephew Jafar Jackson. He don't look like Michael Jackson like in the face, but when they do like those little side angles and stuff like that, you see Mike, right? That's kind of like what it is with Matthew Lou and Nemesis. I'm just telling you, go and look. You like, man, this dude look just like I was like, man, this dude look like Chris Olave. But anyway, man, that's what I see. Says Dennis Allen, Derek Carr ain't it. No, they are not. All right, let's see. We need that over Femi type of energy, Trick Willie swag, Gunther like Killer Instinct. Yeah, man, look, you need all that. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. I mean, that's what you need. You need confidence. You need somebody that know what they're doing, like to win people over, right? Not just with talk, but they game too, right? And not, be on some snake oil salesman type tip. Like, I feel like, unfortunately, Derek Carr kind of came off as. I'm not saying that what his intent was, but I do think that he was a tryhard. I think that he was willing to be anything that people would want him to be because he wanted everybody to like him. And look, I don't care what type of stuff that you do. I don't care if you out here shaking hands, kissing babies, giving out turkeys every day, feeding the hungry. I mean, open up soup kitchens all across America. Somebody is going to be hating on you somewhere. Somebody is going to be somewhere saying, I don't like this dude. What's the catch? What's the catch? What's he trying to do? What he trying to do? All right. Like, man, you can't care about what people think. You know what I mean? People tell me, oh man, you don't know what you're doing on a consistent basis, but I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? Like, you can talk about it all you want to, but guess what? You know what I'm saying? Sleeper calling me, Bleacher Report calling me, Yahoo Sports calling me. So what deal is? You know what I'm saying? People are going to hate, you know what I'm saying, on you in some capacity. That's just what it is. You can't care about what people think. And I think if he would have carried himself like that, I think he would have been more embraced. But dude was a tryhard. Man, look, go back in the archives. I called that out like probably first 2 or 3 press conferences he had. I said, yeah, this probably ain't gonna work. Fact, some people hate just for the fun of it. Yeah, I mean, people just hate. People gonna hate on you, man. If you're doing great things, they gonna hate on you. If you're not doing so great, they gonna hate on you. People are going to have something to say. That's why you can't care about what people think. You can't care. I mean, I know it's like human nature for you to care. I mean, look, you got to basically be cold as hell, right? For not to care about what people think. But at the end of the day, it's like, you can't let it be to a point where you just completely like just have to like try to do everything to win them over. Like, bump that, man. Proof in a pudding, right? Look at what I'm doing. Look at the work. Look at the body of work. Put your head down, continue to work. That's what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead and get into the schedule. Now, I apologize for all those that probably see so many podcasts talking about the same schedule ad nauseum. And I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but y'all already know, man. It was a crazy weekend. Had something going on at the radio station while I work. Paxton's baseball game, man. You know, those things had my attention. All right. Everybody knows that, and if you're new to the channel, I'm a father first. I'm a family guy. My wife needs some, son needs some. We'll circle back, right? We still gonna bring y'all that top content, but we gonna make sure that we take care of home first. But we got to take care of the home team, which is the New Orleans Saints, and I'm talking about the 2026 schedule. Now, before I get into that, I do want to say this. I'm disappointed in some of y'all Saints fans this evening. I'm disappointed in some of y'all Saints fans this evening. I'm about to get on some of y'all because we need to talk and have a conversation. Now, some of you Saints fans out there, you know who you are. Y'all been talking mad greasy. We got our quarterback. We got our running back. Defense, we up. Oh, man, we got the offensive line straight. We got a number one receiver on one side, a potential number one receiver on the other side. We got a tight end, athletic tight ends. We got a blocking tight end. We got all these things. We up, baby, we up. Talking to Atlanta Falcon fans, greasy. Talking to Bucs fans, greasy. Talking to Panther fans, greasy. Talking about how the Saints about to be back. We own it. But then turn around and talk about, man, it ain't fair what the NFL doing to us. They don't want us to win. They ain't trying to see us succeed. Man, do you believe in Tyler Shough or not? Do you believe in the process or not? Do you believe that the New Orleans Saints are capable of winning games or not? Look, I'm not talking about a game of 21 against 7 and 8-year-olds when you 25 to 30 years old, right? Stop with this low-hanging fruit stuff. Like, if we talk about the Saints being legit contender, don't you want the New Orleans Saints to go up against teams that they're going to play in the postseason? If we want to talk about the Saints being back, if you want to talk about the Saints actually doing something, I don't want them to sell me no wolf tickets. I ain't trying to see them go up against teams that I know more than likely going to win 1 or 2 games. Put the best in front of them and let's see what they got. I believe in Tyler Shough. I believe in what the Saints are building, and I feel like the New Orleans Saints are going to turn the corner. As long as everything stays on schedule, you're going to have guys that get hurt. But not hopefully it's not to a point where guys are missing a substantial amount of time and it causes the team to lose games that they should win. Other than that, if the New Orleans Saints can stay relatively healthy, Tyler Shuck can stay up straight, and if the running game can complement the passing attack, the New Orleans Saints are going to be a damn good football team. So all these people out here, man, it ain't fair. What happened? Why we ain't doing this to us? It's a conspiracy. Blah, 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 blah. Do you believe in this football team or not? That's the question. Do you believe that the New Orleans Saints are going to turn a corner or not? If you're scared, go to church. That's all I got to say. Don't sit up here and talk about how the Saints going to look different and then look at the schedule and be like, oh, they screwing us. But let's go ahead and get into the schedule. I got the New Orleans Saints going 11-6. I got the New Orleans Saints going 11-6. I had them going 12-5, but I switched it to 11-6. Got the Saints going 11-6. If I look ridiculous, guess what? I believe in this football team. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Week 1, they're taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. I got the Saints winning that football game. The Detroit Lions aren't the same team that they were a couple of years ago. Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator, and when Ben Johnson left, he took away a lot of the things that made those guys special. When Aaron Glenn left, even though their defense was about as mediocre as a C+, he still put them in the best position to succeed. They have yet to replicate what they have done. And only so much, Dan Campbell's rah-rah speeches can do. I got the New Orleans Saints beating the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Now let's talk about week 2. Don't see them beating the Baltimore Ravens. Don't see them beating the Baltimore Ravens. And the reason I don't see them beating the Baltimore Ravens, because the Saints have struggled historically against Baltimore. Historically. Look, even with Sean Payton and Drew Brees on the sidelines, they could barely beat the Baltimore Ravens. As a matter of fact, the time the New Orleans Saints beat the Baltimore Ravens, I don't know if y'all remember this game. It actually happened in M&T Bank, where they're going to have to play them in week 2, when something that was very uncharacteristic at the time happened. It took something very uncharacteristic for the Saints to win that game. Anybody remember? Anybody remember? I'll tell you. Justin Tucker missed the extra point. Now, despite what you may think about Justin Tucker today, during that time, he was looked at as the most automatic kicker in the NFL, and he missed. He was shocked. It took a mixed extra point. At that time, I guess you got to look at it and act from God in order for the New Orleans Saints to beat the Baltimore Ravens. That was in 2018, I believe, because I think that was Lamar Jackson's rookie year. But I don't see the New Orleans Saints beating the Baltimore Ravens in M&T Bank, so I got them losing this game. And this is why I feel like the Saints about to start streaking and have everybody excited. They're going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Vegas Raiders, I don't know if Fernando Mendoza or Kirk Cousins is going to be playing. I'm hoping that it's Fernando Mendoza, because Kirk Cousins is a Saints killer. Whether you like him or not, Kirk Cousins, for some apparent reason, turned into Joe Montana and Tom Brady wrapped into one every time he plays the Saints. So hopefully it's Fernando Mendoza. They still got some things they need to work on. I expect for Clint Kubiak's offense to put some points on the board, but I still think the New Orleans Saints are going to win this football game. Then you got a Monday night football game versus the Atlanta Falcons. It's the 20th anniversary of the reopening of the Superdome. Everybody knows after Hurricane Katrina back in 2006, the New Orleans Saints opened up the Superdome, and it was a very emotional night. Steve Gleason blocking a punt. We know about the statue that's outside the Superdome to commemorate that, and they're going up against their bitter rival. It is going to take everything within the Atlanta Falcons to win that football game. The New Orleans Saints going to play that game like a damn Super Bowl. I got the New Orleans Saints beating the Atlanta Falcons. Then we go into the Vikings, right? Now, we ain't talking about the Vikings in the playoffs. We talking about the Vikings in a regular season. Kyler Murray more than likely going to be the quarterback. I don't trust that. I don't trust it. I understand that Kevin O'Connell puts his magic pixie dust on these quarterbacks, and the most mediocre quarterbacks end up getting signed in big time contracts and they just resurrect their career. But guess what? Ladies and gentlemen? I don't see that happening. I got the Saints beating the Minnesota Vikings. The Giants. Okay, the Giants was up 14-0 against the Saints. They playing in the Meadowlands, and everybody talking about Jackson Dart versus Tyler Shuck. We all know about the debate, right? Tyler Shuck, he ain't better than he not better than Jackson Dart. He ain't better than. That's all Giants fans are jealous of Tyler Shuck and the success that he had. I don't even know. Like, is Jackson Dart going to be playing in that game? Like, he's going to have to settle down a little bit. The reckless play is going to get him injured, and he's more beneficial being on the field for his team. Will he be there? I don't care if he is or not. I got the New Orleans Saints beating the Giants. Then we got the game in Paris, France. Saints taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you have not heard, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got Aaron Rodgers back for a one-year deal. Don't know why they keep on doing this to themselves. I mean, the person then creeped out the door on you. I mean, you done seen the text messages. You know, like, man, you done came home, you know what I'm saying? Like, and somebody in your house. Why are you still here? Why are you still there? Why do they keep on subjecting themselves to this with Aaron freaking Rodgers? I just don't know. Just turn the freaking page, for God's sakes. My goodness. Just see what you have in Will Howard, Drew Aller. If they suck, guess what? You in the Arch Manning, Lenore Sellers sweepstakes. Like, why are you still trying to be mediocre? And you continuously push yourself back from getting the quarterback of the future. But hell, I don't cover the Steelers. I got the New Orleans Saints beating the Steelers in Paris. And I just think that Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, you 43, 44 years old, you ain't running. You ain't going nowhere. So, I mean, that's an opportunity for the Saints to be able to go out here and get pressure on Aaron Rodgers, get him off his spot, and force him to make a mistake. He's still going to do some things because he's Aaron freaking Rodgers, but, man, just break up already. My goodness, just break up, man. Just move on. Just move on, man. Then you got a bye week, and then I got the New Orleans Saints coming back, and they're playing against the Dallas Cowboys. I actually got the Dallas Cowboys winning this football game. Got them winning the football game. I know some Saints fans may not like that, but I got them winning. I got them winning because, you know, I just think that they'll be due for a loss, you know, and I think that the momentum, you know, that they had, teams are going to be paying attention to them at this time, and, you know, they're going to be trying to knock them off their spot. So I think that the New Orleans Saints are going to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. And then I have the New Orleans Saints bouncing back with a dub against the Carolina Panthers. Look, I don't care if the Carolina Panthers won the division last season. By default, by the way. By default. Like, it was just like, okay, I punched everybody in the face as hard as I can, and, you know, everybody else got knocked out, but this person staggering, they was able to get to their feet. That's what the Carolina Panthers was. Like, I don't believe in the Carolina Panthers. I don't feel like the Carolina Panthers are going to be able to build on what they did last season. Bryce Young, yeah, he did improve as a quarterback, but I still don't believe in him as far as taking the team anywhere. I think that he's good enough to be able to get another contract, but at the end of the day, I don't think that the Carolina Panthers are as good as people making them out to be. And even though they made some key additions in the offseason, I still don't think it's going to be enough. I got the New Orleans Saints beating the Carolina Panthers, all right? Then I got the New Orleans Saints losing to the Chicago Bears, all right? I think that the Chicago Bears going to be flirting with the Super Bowl. I think that, you know, they made steps last season in the right direction. I think that with another, you know, offseason where you can add to their defense, add to the offense, I'm still kind of on the fence, you know, wondering, like, how is the absence and the loss of DJ Moore? Is Rome Odunze going to be able to step up? Is Luther Burton going to be able to step up? I mean, I like those guys, but, you know, DJ Moore leaves a huge void in that offense. So, but I still think that the Chicago Bears are going to win. And my question is, I believe that game is in Chicago. Why is it in Chicago? Like, is it a home game for the Saints? I'm sorry, man. I don't have the home and away, but I believe that game in Chicago. Why is it that it's in Chicago if the Saints played the Bears in Chicago last season? I just think that you need to switch that. I think I got the Saints beating the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. I don't care what they got defensively. I still think that the defense is going to be lacking in Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow is a beast, but I don't trust that defense. And I just think that the New Orleans Saints going to get them. All right. Moving on to the Packers. I think I got the Saints taking an L against the Packers. All right. I think the Saints going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be at that point just yet. Okay. I think that, you're probably this is going to be like one of those games where you're going to see the Saints fighting tooth and nail. All right. I think it's going to be like one of those games where people are going to be like, okay, man, like, oh, man, okay, they played this team and that team. They had questions. But when you're going up against a Packers team that has been in the playoff conversation for the last 4 to 5 years, I think the New Orleans Saints going to have them on the ropes. And I think that this is the game that's going to make people really, truly think that the New Orleans Saints can really, truly make some noise. Got the New Orleans Saints beating the Panthers again. Yes, I got the Saints sweeping the Panthers yet again. I got and then they play against the Bucs. I got the Saints winning against the Bucs the first time. Got the Saints beating the Arizona Cardinals because who the hell do the Arizona Cardinals have other than Jeremiah Love on their team and Trey McBride? I mean, who's their quarterback? I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, so many unanswered questions. I got the Saints losing to the Falcons that time around, and I got the Saints ending the season with a loss versus the Buccaneers. All right, so as you can see, I got the Saints 11-6 this season. All right, that's what I believe. I believe that the New Orleans Saints are capable of winning 11 games. And if I'm wrong, then hey, come back and make fun of it. But I really believe that the New Orleans Saints are going to be a better football team this season. They're going to flip it. All right, last year they were 6-11. This season they're going to be 11-6. All right. Says that straight up, TJAY. We played Dallas. Okay, not a regular season. My bad. Thank you for that. Let me go ahead and make sure. Sorry about that. I think I was a little bit overzealous with the graphic. Let me make sure that all right, looking at the schedule. Thank you for that, Jerry. Because I was like, man, that's weird. Okay. All right, let me take a look at the schedule. Let me pull this schedule up real quick, man. Look at this schedule. All right, so with that being said, I'm trying to pull up this. I'm trying to pull up this schedule. All right, so Lions, Ravens. Yeah, I'm trying to look at. I'm actually trying to look up and trying to see if I can just find this 2026 schedule. All right. Let me see if they can go ahead and pull this up for me. All right, so excuse me. They actually played the Dallas Cowboys week 3 of preseason. I apologize. The Cleveland Browns they played in week number 9. Thank you for that. Week 9 versus the Cleveland Browns, look, same thing. Okay. Well, I get I guess I do have the Saints going 12-5. I actually do have the Saints going 12-5 because the Cleveland Browns. Yes. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got to say 12-5 then. I apologize. That was the team. I was like, man, okay. So yes, they play the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. AFC North. They play a team in the AFC North. But anyway, yes, 12-5, I got the New Orleans Saints. Okay. But that's what I get for kind of, saying speeding through and trying to, create the graphic. But anyway, yeah, Cleveland Browns, week number 9, got the Saints going 12-5. Thank you, Jerry. And y'all had me out here, man. Somebody could have said something. Let me see, man. We ain't playing no Cowboys in the regular season. All right, there we go. B Creole tried to warn me. See, that's why I got some of the best producers in the game, right? But still, okay, I got the Saints going 12-5. All right. So let's go ahead and recap. All right. Got the Saints beating the Lions. Got them beating the Ravens. Losing to the Ravens. Beating the Raiders. Beating the Falcons. Beating the Vikings. Beating the Giants. Beating the Steelers. Bye week. Beating the Browns. Beating the Panthers. Losing to the Bears. Beating the Bengals. Losing to the Packers. Beating the Panthers. Beating the Bucks. Beating the Arizona Cardinals. Losing to the Falcons and losing to the Bucks. 12-5. 12-5. That's why I got the New Orleans Saints. Said that's why I'm the PR man. I appreciate that. See, that's why you the best PR man in the business. Get them Cowboys out of my face. Anyway. All right. Patrick's the only Cowboy that I like. All right. I mean, that's the only Cowboy I root for. All right. And then it makes me cringe every single time just seeing him run out there in the star. But hey, man. Hey, it is what it is. NFC South champions. That's why I have it, man. But I appreciate that. Once again, yeah. I mean, I guess the only thing that changed is my week 9 prediction. So yeah, I do have them at 12-5. So I stand on business when I say that. As long as the New Orleans Saints can stay healthy to a point where it's not like, huge losses every single time, every single week where a key player missing a substantial amount of time, Saints going 12-5. You're gonna have injuries. You're gonna have injuries. That just comes with the territory. Question, TJ, what up, fam? Which games are potential trap games for the Saints? Any Saints revenge games? Which win do you want the most? I need the Saints to beat the Falcons. All right. I mean, Tyler Shuck, as much good as he did last season, he did not beat the Falcons. All right. And I'm telling you, he has got to beat the Falcons. He has got to beat the Falcons, because as much as Saints fans like him, if he get that reputation of not being able to knock off the Falcons, I mean, you can kiss as many babies as you want. You can go to as many rodeos as you want. You can play as much banana ball as you want. You don't beat the Falcons, Saints fans gonna be like, I don't know about him. So you got to beat the Falcons. Trap game, I would say the Browns. Browns can be a trap game. I mean, they gotta always have a really good defense, right? I mean, on a good day, quarterbacks start wheeling and dealing. I mean, we know historically the Saints have struggled against the Browns. We've seen Jameis Winston come into the Superdome, kind of light them up. I mean, we've seen, man, like we seen, like, the Browns come into the Superdome, man, and make some noise. Like we seen it. So, man, it's not out of the realm of possibility, man. TJ, I'm at 1,129 subscribers now, man. Congratulations to you, Jared. Keep up that good work, man. Keep on climbing. Keep on climbing, man. That is not an easy feat. To get 1,000+ subscribers is not easy. It is not easy, man. So I commend anybody that's out here putting in that type of work to be able to create content for, 1,000, at least 1,000 subscribers. That is not an easy feat. I wouldn't underestimate the Cleveland Browns this year. Todd Monken is their new head coach. Yeah, I mean, he kind of old school with it too. Good defensive-minded coach. And like I said, I mean, that could be a trap game. That can definitely be a trap game. Like I said, the Cleveland Browns always seem to play the New Orleans Saints hard. I mean, even in that game where it was like real cold. Y'all remember that game? Like, man, the Saints didn't blow out no Browns, right? I mean, it was the Taysom Hill show. They were just running the ball with him the whole game. They were like, man, just keep the clock running. What, it was like negative, like it felt like -10 out there or something. Todd Monken, offensive-minded coach. Yeah. I mean, good defensive-mind guy too, man. If you listen to him talk. Like, I mean, I checked out a few of the Cleveland Browns press conferences, and like most of the time they was asking him like defensive questions and stuff like that. That's why I say, man, good defensive mind. Offensively, Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That's the Cleveland Browns. They could have they could have maybe went with somebody a little bit more younger. They wanted to go with experience. Says, man, I can't wait to see Travis in the black and gold. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing that too. He was our offensive coordinator. We're going to miss him. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, good man. I don't know, man. Like when I was listening to him talk, a lot of the questions was like geared towards the defense. And I was like, okay, man, he was a good defensive minded guy too. You know, defensive, like, but I think that's going to like serve a purpose. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why they got him. Is because, you know, number one, they need help with the quarterback position, try to figure out what they're going to do. But at the end of the day, like, he also understands like defensive tendencies like really, really well. I mean, to a point where I just feel like he could have. I don't know if it's the fact that he has been like with Baltimore and stuff like that, and it kind of helped him. But yeah, man, good. Like they was like, oh man, I was like, man, dude here, pretty doggone good when it comes to that. But I guess like if you're gonna like understand like different offense, you got to know how to combat what the defense is doing. But yeah, man, good offensive minded guy, defensive minded guy too. So I think that he's gonna like because of his knowledge and stuff. I just think that it's probably gonna be beneficial. I mean, it's not like the Browns don't have talent. I mean, they got talent on that football team. Saints run defense gotta hold it down because Gibbs, Henry, Genty, Bijan, first 4 games. Yeah, you're gonna find out very, very early what this run defense gonna do. Do you think the Bucks will be bad without Mike Evans? I think that is going to play a huge role, him not being there. Like Mike Evans used to bail out Baker Mayfield quite a bit. Like when Mike Evans went down, when he was dealing with them collarbone and hamstring issues, like you can see a difference in Baker Mayfield's game. Like you're gonna have to have somebody else to be able to lean on. Now I believe in Emeka Ibuka. I think he definitely is going to be that number one receiver that they need. But man, Mike Evans, I mean, that's Mr. 50-50 right there. Like you throw that ball up there, he gonna make it happen. I didn't know you had a YouTube, Dalton. Yeah, Dalton has a YouTube. Let's see. Already read that. But yeah, man, Todd Monken, to me, like I said, good defensive mind guy, like understands defensive tendencies, good offensive guy. Think they brought him in, you know, because it covers his work, you know, with quarterbacks. I just don't know why Cleveland does that to themselves. Like they went out and got Taylor Green. I mean, you got Dylan Gabriel on the team, Shadur Sanders, and you got Deshaun Watson. Like I don't know. Man, my bad. I don't know if they just trying to collect the infinity stones of quarterbacks. I don't know what the heck going on here. This is my first time joining your channel, bro. I'm a Bears fan. Well, look, man, I appreciate you being here, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, man. No matter what team that you root for, man, we try to keep it even keel over here, man. We ain't just waving black and gold pom-poms. We try to be, you know, objective. And although, you know, I cover the Saints, you know, we still talk about other NFL teams as well. All due respect, I've been watching NFL almost 20 years. Yeah, man, look, that's what's up, man. You know, I appreciate you being here. Like I said, no matter if you've been a fan and watched NFL for 20 years, 20 days, 20 decades, right? You've been living, you know, like it don't matter, man. We still appreciate you stopping by and you know, glad that you can sit in and talk football with us, man. Appreciate that. Let's see. Can't wait to see us go out there and beat Detroit and give Equimedia St. Brown another reason to hate. Man, look, ain't nobody worried about no Equitendo St. Brown. Ain't nobody worried about Reba Jackson. I mean, Tito Jackson. Right? Ain't nobody worried about Marlon. They ain't even like ain't even Tito. That's Marlon right there. Like nobody, like when people like talk about the Jacksons, man, nobody really mentioned Marlon. Everybody talk about Jermaine, Tito. You know, like, man, nobody worry about no Equimedy at St. Brown. Like, I mean, seriously, man. Man, I just that ain't the move, man. I can understand like if you was like that and team like let you go and you know you want to talk some noise, but man, come on, bro. Like you ain't never been that. Hey, DeWine, TJ thinks my voice sounds like Patrick Mahomes. It does. It does sound like Patrick Mahomes. Like you definitely sound like Patrick Mahomes, Dalton. You definitely sound like. All right, it says Lions and Ravens game should be entertaining. Yeah, I mean it's going to let Saints fans know very early what type of team the New Orleans Saints building over there. Says thank you, TJ, for taking my question. Always a pleasure to catch you live. Grandize, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you asking me a question, man. You could have been asking that question to anybody. I appreciate it. But final thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, before, you know, I mean, we kind of went off the rails a little bit when it comes to things. I mean, I got the Saints playing the Cowboys in week 9 when it should have been the Browns. I got Tom Monken as a good defensive-minded coach. Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. All right, it's time to wrap it up. But at the end of the day, man, look, I'm excited about what 2026 holds for the Saints. I'm not buying with Mickey Loomis and the organization selling by Alvin Kamara. Can we bring Cam Jordan back and get his man some respect? Because it's not like this man just washed. He gave you 10.5 sacks last time you saw him on the field. And hopefully, like, the New Orleans Saints can do some winning against some teams that, you know, that shows that this team is on the rise, man. I'm not buying no stock in the Saints for beating low-hanging fruit teams. With all due respect. I know every year teams get better, but teams that are struggling and have been on a struggle bus, I'm not giving you no credit because you beating them. Like, go out here and beat the Ravens. Go out here, beat Detroit. Like, those are the type of teams that you want to beat. Why? Because those are the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Plain and simple. Beat the teams that you know are going to be in the playoffs. All right. But thank you all so much for checking out the Straight Up TJ podcast. Once again, my name is TJ Jones. You can follow me on X at TJAY Jones 8. Please, pretty please, make sure that you subscribe to the Sleeper Saints podcast channel. I am the representative of the New Orleans Saints for Sleeper Saints. Weekly podcast talking about the New Orleans Saints. Also Saints Shorts. Talking about Saints topics. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me go ahead before I do get up out of here. I do want to put that up. I know I didn't play the Kellen Moore soundbite, but if you heard the Mickey Loomis soundbite, you pretty much heard Kellen Moore. They basically were saying the same thing. It sounded like they were just coaching each other up, and they kind of prepped before they even went to the media and spoke to them. Okay, we're gonna say it like this. I know they're gonna ask us about Alvin. So if you heard Mickey Loomis, trust and believe you heard Kellen Moore, except for the fact that you probably would have heard an endless amount of the word process when it comes to Kellen Moore. But other than that, they were basically saying the same thing. Make sure that you subscribe to the Sleeper Saint channel. I put it inside of the comments. Please do so and subscribe to this channel as well. Thank you all so much. Have a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. And until next time, I'll see you down the road.
TJAY, yeah. Straight up, let's go. Welcome to Straight Up TJAY. Tap in, sit back, press replay. Been locked in with the Saints on a weekday. Now we talking every sport, every big play. Years on the grind, now we level up the view. From the dome to the world, get a better look at you. No script.